This is Deanne Mary, and this is my second recording for our 5 New Technologies, and this site is called Grammar Bytes. It's actually located, if you look at the web address, as chompchomp.com, kind of a fun website. And Grammar Bytes is grammar instruction with an attitude. I would often send my students here for, if they had extra time, sometimes after a test, if they were finished typing a paper early, or sometimes we would go, if we had computers, or go to a lab to work on grammar instruction, sometimes to also do our grammar work prior to writing a paper. I like this site because they have a variety of activities that can be used. There's a daily workout on Twitter if you would like to interact with another site. But there's terms that students can go in and get a better definition for everything from, as you can tell, abstract nouns to verbs. But if they're just not certain what a particular term is in grammar, they can go look it up. Sometimes if you have to leave your classroom to go to get computers in a lab, you may not actually have grammar books available. If you have them in your classroom, or if you have writing resource books in your classroom, they may not be with you if you go to a lab. So it's nice to have a website. Students don't want to have to always go to a dictionary or to a dictionary site. It's nice to actually have one that's dedicated to grammar for them to be able to go and look up terms. I like the exercises, and I'm going to come back to those in just a moment. There's an online class that can be enrolled in that they've started with quizzes. I've used the handouts with my class. They're especially good sometimes when I've had a substitute as well, and we have a paper coming up, or we've just finished, maybe the rough draft, and we're in between, and if I've had to be gone, sometimes I've noted which particular errors the students are making quite frequently, and I've pulled a handout on those to give them a little practice until I can come back and review a little further with them. And we've used the handouts as the go-between, and I come back and we go over the handouts and talk about, here's the error I'm noticing, let's review this, and let's make some corrections then on their own paper, and it gives them a chance to practice that editing skill on their work once they've had a chance to practice on these handouts. The handouts, you can choose from a variety of problem areas in grammar and writing, and then they have interactive exercises that the students can work on the computer as well. And when you click on a handout, it also does have the answers for a teacher to use. There are presentations that teachers can use with their classes, and then they have videos on YouTube that can be shared with a class or with colleagues. I've checked out a few, and the plagiarism one is interesting. I'm not going to share it here because, as you can tell, it's over 14 minutes long. But they have a variety of everything. They are quite modern in their presentation, so students, it would keep their interest quite well. There's tips and rules if they don't have time to do all the exercises, or if you just need something quick and easy to remind students about, or if they just need to look up a rule. There's a good resource for that. There's a section that tells about the woman who designed the site. There's nothing currently in shop. The exercises are fun for students, even for upper level students. I worked primarily with middle school and high school, mostly with high school, and areas that we often have problems with are comma splices and fused sentences. When a student goes in to do the interactive exercises on the website, they go in and it gives them instructions and talks to them about what an actual comma splice or a fused sentence is. And then as they go through, it talks about that the prizes will be cyber. They're not going to actually receive any type of prize from their instructor unless otherwise told. But one of the things I like, and it might be good for students to have headphones, earbuds, or you're going to have a lot of noise in your classroom, is as they go through an exercise, if they go through, they read the sentence, and it's asking them to decide what type of sentence it is, and they have to decide, which door should you choose. If they get it right, then they're going to get a great prize. If they get it wrong, they're going to get a consolation prize. And although you may not be able to hear them on my video here, since I've not purchased an upgrade to this Screencast-O-Matic, the cow does actually moo. And but as they get their consolation prize, they can come down here and they can actually get an explanation of, it points out to them what they should be looking for in a sentence, and it does walk them through what it actually, the answer should be and what they should be choosing. If they go down and they actually read through the sentence, they read through, all of their instruction, they come down, they choose a correct one, it's going to tell them something they've won. In this case, I got a huge wow. Sometimes they may get an airplane, a car. It's going to make it's going to make some noise, but it is a fun experience for students. But it's also a very educational one, and it does, if they get something wrong, give them a chance to have the learning experience of what to learn, what to look for in sentences, where to actually place punctuation, or where the word choices are they need to look for. It's a good grammar site. It's interactive for students. I know it works well for middle school and high school. And down at the bottom, it always has a place for them to be able to go and look for terms. If they need to go back to exercises because perhaps they need to work on fragments or word choice or their pronouns, it does give them places to go. And then it does have a lot of places, multiple different exercises, multiple handouts, and they can keep scrolling to get through the different offerings. So another choice and another option, if you're looking for help with writing resources, grammar resources, is Grammar Bites, and it's located at chompchomp.com. For this particular site, I chose the standards of, for ISTE, I chose the teacher standard of 5A, which tells us to use technology to create, adapt, and personalize learning experience that foster independent learning and accommodate learner differences and needs. So this definitely would be an independent resource to work with the individual needs and differences for grammar and whichever issues a student might be having with writing. And then I chose TCK1, where candidates design and facilitate diverse learning activities that incorporate digital tools and resources.